Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to episode 37 of my ongoing Battle Brothers series. Today we're continuing our defense of the village of New Farn. We've already fended off one band of goblin raiders, so now it's time to take down the second. We've rearranged our line a little bit, but we should be in good fighting shape for this. Oh, especially with this fantastic starting position. In fact, Leif and Henrik here might even survive the battle. That's good. I think I'm still feeling a little guilty over what happened to Hubert. Okay, we've already got some skirmishers who pushed up onto our plateau here. But all of their ambushers are stuck down at lower elevation, so that should make it a lot easier to pick them off. Alessandro starts things off by sinking an arrow into that ambusher's chest. And Wojtek finishes him off. Fox manages to put an arrow through another ambusher's knee. And Bunny finishes that one off as well. Barely into the first round, and we've already dropped... Well, and we put an arrow through that ambusher's face as well. Alright, Raiders, let's keep it up. Hey, look at that, even the militiamen are contributing. Kind of. Okay, Henry moves up and puts the banner through that eager skirmisher's leg. And I suppose our frontliners should move up to hold the edge of this elevated plateau. But we're definitely not going to go down to lower elevation to meet these guys. We want them to come to us. Kasserin moves up and finishes off Mr. Eager. And the rest of our guys will just push up to hold our elevated position. Honestly, I think this is going to be the easiest fight we've had in a while. That's good, because I really wasn't looking forward to stressing out over another fight with a half-dozen goblin ambushers. We've got some scattered incoming arrow fire, but so far those elevation-based defense bonuses are really working for us. It looks like they're pretty intent on staying down there and just throwing stuff at us. And honestly, I can live with that. That's just more time for us to rain arrows back down on them. I do hope our frontliners get a little action, but I'm certainly not complaining. Alright, moving into round 2. Their ambushers are moving up a little more. I'm sure they'll fire a couple more arrows at us. Maybe they'll even manage to hit someone this time. That goblin pikeman just moved within striking range. Alright, Alessandro, if you don't mind, please start us off. Still some pretty low hit chances here, but this skirmisher in the pit seems like a pretty ideal target. And that's a sucking chest wound. Okay, what can Fox do? He'll go after one of the ambushers, I think. And he puts an arrow through the goblin's arm. And Bunny finishes off the ambusher. That leaves us with just 3 more ambushers to deal with and a whole lot of skirmishers. Speaking of which, Bunny managed to dole out a maiming injury on that pikeman, but he's still in the fight. Okay, well, obviously we're going to continue holding position and continue waiting for them to approach us. Except for that one. Janos will step up, ready his great hammer, and that'll do it. Scratch off one goblin pikeman. Now the rest of them will have to approach us. No hanging back and jabbing at us with jagged pikes. Round 3. What have the ambushers got for us this time? Well, it looks like one of them is actually broken now. Alright, Dominic just got netted. No big deal. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of their oddball strategy here. I guess they're slowly trying to circle around our northern side. But, once again, that gives us ample opportunity to tear them apart with our archers. Oh, Fox hits the wrong target, but still takes it down. Then puts another arrow through an ambusher's chest. Vlad steps up and puts his pike through a goblin skirmisher's shoulder. I guess I can circle around here. He's pretty safe there. Not a great hit, but at least he took off a little bit of the goblin's armor. Oh, hey. Look at that. Henrik the militiaman took down an ambusher. Of course, not one to be shown up. Bunny quickly takes down the last of the ambushers. And then puts another arrow through a skirmisher's throat. Looks like that broke all the goblins on their north side. So we don't have to worry about them circling us anymore. In fact, let's just go ahead and start moving some of our brothers in to pin them down. That way they can't flee. And we'll go ahead and have Kassarin the Aegis move down to support Rondis in routing those last few holdouts. They still seem pretty intent on throwing stuff at us. Not the brightest bulbs in the batch. Alright, archers. Tear them up. Alessandro puts an arrow through one of the remaining skirmishers' arms. Sergeant Baggins efficiently clears out 2 more. Fox finishes off the wounded skirmisher, puts an arrow through another skirmisher's face, and then kills him as well. The militiamen try to help. Good for them. Honestly, at this point, the fight's pretty much over. We're just seeing if we can soak up a few extra experience points. I got a quick kill there with his great axe, and then he moves up to engage the last non-broken skirmisher. Bunny puts an arrow through the fleeing goblin's leg. Rondis moves up to support takes off a chunk of that skirmisher's armor. Jano steps up to the fleeing goblin. Ooh, but he whiffs with the great hammer. Then Dominic moves in and can't get past the skirmisher's shield. Wow. No one seems to be able to land a last hit on this guy. Oh. But trying to flee proved his undoing. Jano swiftly crushes the fleeing goblin into the ground. Just one more goblin to kill, and it looks like he's using some fancy footwork to get clear. He actually managed to get himself out of our archer's range, so I guess it's up to our frontliners to chase that guy down now. But don't worry, he's definitely not going to get far. If worst comes to worst, we'll just release the hounds. You may not have noticed, but almost everyone on our front line is packing an armored war dog these days. Alright, can we get you over there? We can. Pins him back down. Not enough action points to actually attack, but at least he managed to slow him down a little more. Let's bring up some of the other brothers, see if we can head this guy off. And now let's just push forward to round 6. Okay, what's this guy doing now? Looks like he shield tanked and then fancy footworked away again. But he certainly didn't get far. I think it's pretty much over for him. Rondus moves up. Draws his greatsword. But misses. I got steps up. And finishes things with one more decisive blow. Looks like Vlad Kapesh is up to level 10. And we've got a two-way tie for MVP between Fox and Bunny. The loot's about as mediocre as you'd expect, but as usual, we'll grab everything we can carry. And flesh and bone scattered across the field, hardly discernible from one owner to the next. Black buzzards cycle overhead, halos of chevron shadows rippling over the dead, the birds waiting for the mourners to clear out. Woe the 77th comes to your side and asks if they should start the return trip to Edmund the Guildmaster. You leave the site of the battlefield behind and nod. We head back to the town hall. And since we're right here already, let's just pop back over to New Farn. You find Edmund the Guildmaster rearranging a bookshelf. He seems to be restocking his wares, carefully counting and numbering his goods like a shopkeep. He jumps when the door slams shut behind you. Ah, Sellsword, you spooked me there. He grabs a chest off one of the bookshelves and hands it over to you. I'd planned to take all these books, all these scrolls, and run for it. Now, though, I shan't need to, and that's all thanks to you. His smile sours for just a moment. Not everyone was so lucky as to see this day, and your victory. Tonight I must see to it that the fallen get a proper burial. Well, that gives us a hefty stack of crowns, and New Farn is no longer suffering the marauding greenskins condition. Which means that we are headed right for the Fletcher. And unfortunately, it appears that they cycled their warbows out of their inventory, of course. That's unfortunate. Well, for now we can take advantage of our reputation and get a few extra coins, dumping our excess inventory. Then we'll head to the next town down the line. I think they've got a Fletcher's too. While your men venture around town, you go to a pub and take a seat. As soon as you do, a strange man joins you. You with the RetconRaiders? You nod. The man nods back, then reaches into his pocket. You reach for your dagger. The stranger puts his hand out. Easy there. I'm wearing a sword. If I wanted to kill you, taking a seat probably wouldn't be the best route. The man lifts the sheath, and it bumps the underside of the table. He cocks his head as if to say, See? You nod, and the man continues with his move, taking out a note and passing it to you. A local councilman by the name of Dietholm of Holschlag wishes to see you. Diethelm of Holschlag's drunk and nestled deep into his chair. He thumbs toward an open book on his table. Have you heard of the Battle of Many Names? It went down about 10 years ago when the orcs came streaming into man's land, and when man fielded his army and said, No. You nod, knowing the battle well, and the war it helped end. The man continues. Unfortunately, we have reason to believe that they're coming back. Greenskins, don't know what type, don't know how tall or what sort, but this way they do indeed come. He throws back the rest of his drink, swallowing as though it were the last thing that'd go down his throat before an executioner removed his head. Will you stay here and protect us? For the right price, of course. I haven't forgotten your station yet. Well, this is only a one-skull contract, so I'm not expecting much. But I suppose 1,200 crowns is fair pay for an easy mission. As you can see, we've obviously made it out to Holschlag, a small, middle-of-nowhere town, with a surprisingly hefty supply of war bows. And I'm hoping that this job will allow us to buy all 3 of them at an affordable price. So let's venture out into the branch woods here, and keep our eyes peeled for greenskins. The greenskins are in sight. Prepare for battle and protect the town. In sight. Oh, there they are. Alright, some goblin ambushers, some goblin skirmishers. Only 8 of them, so this should make for a quick battle. Looks like an even split, 4 skirmishers, 4 ambushers. We've got a couple of rookies on our front line, so we'll hold back for the moment. Ooh, good thing I put Belfontan on shield wall immediately. Looks like they're definitely focusing fire on him. Okay, archers. Looks like they've moved some of their ambushers into exposed positions. Bunny takes advantage of that, immediately putting an arrow through one of their arms. Potato misses his intended target, but still manages to put an arrow through a pikeman's hand. And you know what? Let's go ahead and start moving some of the brothers up. We'll just leave enough behind to keep our archers shielded. Reinhard charges their north line. Kazarin moves up to help Eraton against that skirmisher. Rondis will start moving towards their southern ambushers. And Janos will follow Reinhard on the north. We'll leave Belfontan back here to provide cover for Potato and Mark. Okay, everything's fine over there. Woe will start moving up as well. And Henry Baggins will jump in front of Fox and Bunny and quickly switch off to his shield. Round 2. Looks like their ambushers have fallen back to more defensive positions. And that one jumped off the map entirely. Looks like their skirmishers are putting up a little bit of a fight, but nothing to worry about so far. Let's go ahead and soften them up with a bit more arrow fire. Fox puts an arrow through a pikeman's arm. But no one else seems to be able to land a hit. Oh, scratch that. Mark finishes off the pikeman. And then puts another arrow through the other pikeman's hand. Eraton moves up and can't manage to finish off that pikeman. Reinhard engages the spearman, ignoring his paltry thrust. But doesn't dole out any significant damage in return. Rondis engages 3 goblins at once, before plunging his legendary dagger through one of the ambusher's hands. Kazarin joins him, but can't make any attacks just yet. And Janos moves in as well. Woe steps up behind Reinhard, shears off a goblin's face. I guess at this point we've got most of their ambushers locked down, so... Ooh, well, that was a bad move. Belfontan was definitely on the losing side of that exchange. He just took a pretty nasty bleeding injury. Their ambushers are continuing their fighting withdrawal. And Belfontan takes another nasty wound. We'll definitely need to pull him back in a second. Fox picks off another ambusher. Bunny finishes off that troublesome pikeman. And let's dodge Potato forward here, and he can quickly bandage up Belfontan's wounds. Oh, looks like that faceless goblin on the north side just bled to death. Woe doles out another bleeding injury. Mark can't actually draw a line of sight here, so he'll have to hold off. Eraton will move to start pursuing one of those fleeing ambushers. At this point, we're dealing with almost nothing but fleeing ambushers. And Casimir takes down the last skirmisher, so now everyone just needs to pile onto these ambushers before they can get away. That's one locked down. And Casimir doles out a quick chest wound. Rondis locks down another. And Reinhard gets the third. That was nice and efficient. Ooh, plus he doles out a pierced kidney. Janos moves in and finishes off the third to last ambusher. At this point, we'll just hold back with our archers. And it does look like the ambushers are putting up a little bit of a fight, but they're not landing any hits. Woe moves in. Eraton manages to get in there as well, but he still can't land a hit. He really needs to lay off the drinking. But that's fine. Rondis finishes off the second to last of our ambushers. And Kazarin drops the last of them. Sadly, it doesn't look like we pulled any level ups, but it looks like Kazarin is our goblin-killing MVP. Definitely pretty sparse loot, we'll take everything. And back to Holschlag. The fighting is over, and the men idle in a welcome respite. Diethelm of Holschlag will be waiting for you back in town. We head back to the town hall. You find Diethelm of Holschlag feeding some of his dogs. He pets one over and over as it chows down. I really thought I'd have to give this up. He gives the mutt one final pat before turning his eyes to you. Thank you, Sellsword. You did more than just protect this town. You protected a way of life. Without you, we would have all died. Or worse, lived to see the horridness that tomorrow surely would have brought. You nod and step forward to give one of the dogs a pat, but it leers up at you and growls. Diethelm of Holschlag laughs. Please, forgive his ignorance. Payment for a hard day's work. And with that, we are done with our contract in Holschlag, which means it's time to unload some of this loot and pick up a few supplies. Not the least of which, of course, are these brand new war bows. Now, it's definitely going to take a big chunk out of our nest egg, but let's go ahead and pick up enough of these war bows to equip our entire archer line. And then maybe we can find a quick little fight to break them in. While on the path, you come across a man staring at a hole in the ground. Naturally, you go over and ask what he's doing. He states that there's an orc in the pit. You look down. There is. Taking out your sword, you ask if you should take care of it for him. He reels back. What? No, I want that alive. I think we can try and understand it. Understand it? What is this man on about? He pleads. Let us merely try. Everyone kills an orc on sight, but they're not mere animals. They show intelligence, and if they have intelligence, it means that they can learn. And if they can learn, then perhaps they can learn to coexist with us. Dogs are smart too, but what do we do with the bad ones? Woe the Houndmaster nods and explains that an animal, no matter how intelligent or well-trained, is still an animal. The peacenik thinks for a time. It's not a mere dog, though. Your Houndmaster takes the man by the shoulder. But you've cornered it like one, haven't you? What do you think a man would do in this situation? All his intellect and wisdom with him, his back to a wall and enemies afoot? This is not the place nor time for making peace, friend, whether it be with man or beast. The stranger slowly begins to nod. He sees the sense of the argument and, thankfully, lets you destroy the orc without any incident. With the greenskin put away, the man gives you a satchel of crowns. I wanted to try to parlay with it with these. That ain't happening now, clearly, and I'd probably be dead if you hadn't shown up. Consider this my thanks, Sellsword. Well, that netted us a small reward plus a permanent resolve bonus for Woe, so all in all, a pretty good encounter. And now we continue on our way in search of an easy contract or a quick little fight to take advantage of. We'll be right back. And welcome back. We managed to track down a basic little bandits lair. That'll give us a chance to break in our new war bows. plus our latest recruit, Rowan Church, our very first witch hunter. We've never recruited a witch hunter before, but they get a pretty hefty bonus to morale when it comes to supernatural attacks. They also come with a pretty wide assortment of special events and special interactions during events, so I'm looking forward to triggering a few of those. You'll notice at the moment I've got him equipped with a pike and a crossbow. That's because I haven't really decided exactly what direction I want to take him in yet, but we'll figure that out as he starts gaining levels. At any rate, let's get in here and take out some brigands. Oh yeah, this is going to be a quick, easy fight. These poor SOBs are stuck out in the middle of the swamp here. Alessandro puts an arrow through one of the raiders' faces. Wojtek puts another arrow through a thug's arm. The brigands begin slowly making their way towards us. Mark drops one of the brigand thugs, then puts another arrow into a second thug's chest. Hey, look at that. There's one brigand smart enough to circle around the swamp instead of wading through it. Well, we'll just hold position and wait for them to approach us. That'll give our archers at least another round or two to continue softening them up on approach. Honestly, by the time they actually reach us, I'm anticipating that they'll be about ready to retreat. Then our frontliners can hack them up while they try to flee. Alessandro drops that bright thug trying to circle around to the north, and then a second thug as well. Wojtek sinks 2 arrows into that raider's buckler. Looks like we've got a raider circling on the south now. Those shields are actually doing a pretty good job of protecting them from our arrows, so let's get a couple of spears set to receive charges. We'll bring Rondus down to the south side to help protect the sergeant's flanks. And we've got one thug trying to flee. We'll mow him down before he can get too far. Potato puts an arrow into the fleeing thug's chest, and Alessandro finishes him off, as well as the badly wounded raider on our north side. Looks like we've got one raider who's finally engaged with Rondus. Let's see how that works out for him. Rondus misses the first swing. Ooh, then severs an artery with the second. And we've got a thug engaged on our north line. The thug managed to parry our first couple of strikes. Ooh, but not Janos's great hammer. At this point, we've just got 2 brigands left on the field, so let's just go ahead and get a bit more aggressive. Sergeant Baggins finishes off one of the remaining raiders. So that just leaves us with this guy who's trying to flee. We'll engage him with everyone possible, and he'll probably die. Oh, yep, there he goes. Kazarin cuts him down as he tries to flee. Alessandro pulls MVP with 4 kills. And we got a couple of 100 gold worth of loot, so we'll take it. And it looks like we're at about the 30-minute mark, so let's go ahead and wrap things up. I think we'll be heading back towards some of the big towns, and we'll see if we can find some more contracts, and, of course, we still need to knock over one more orc stronghold. So we'll take care of that next time. Hey, RetconRaider here. This was definitely another good day for the Raiders. We may not have finished our current ambition, but we did manage to fend off 2 goblin raiding parties, picked up our first witch hunter, and managed to finish upgrading our company's archers. Those warbows, while expensive, should definitely help us in the battles to come. Like I said last time, those are the best bows you can get in the game, not counting unique named bows or the masterwork bow that you can only get from rare special events. There's not much more I can do to improve our archers, at least from an equipment standpoint, so that means it's time to start saving up money to get better equipment for our frontliners. We've gotten by on looted armor so far, but I think it might be time to start buying some of the better stuff from specialty shops. We've also now officially filled the Raiders' ranks. With the addition of Rowan, we've hit the squad's maximum size. That means we're done hiring new mercenaries for now, but of course, I'll still keep the waiting list running, just in case we suffer some more casualties. Things are definitely running pretty smoothly right now, but that could change in the immediate future. We still haven't run into our first orc warlord just yet. But for now, it's off to the nearest pub to buy the men another round of drinks. Enjoy the downtime while you can, Raiders. But don't forget, we've still got a war to win. This is RetconRaider, signing off. Thanks for watching. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Battle Brothers, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, or the FanRun Wiki. Links are in the description.